All praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah. Double honors to apostle elders in New York, GMS. Salutations to you all around the world that's teaching the truth, putting your lives on the line for it, and shalom to you, serious Akwav. My name is Maya Ka'ala, Bungad with Chicago branch of Great Millstone. I'd like to make a disclaimer that we are not black Hebrew Israelites. We are Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans scattered abroad. And also, the speckled birds are Israelites. Speckled birds are Israelites who look like other nations, but their father's paternal bloodline go back to the 12 patriarchs of Israel. We're not affiliated with any black identity strangles. We're not affiliated with any French militant groups. We're not affiliated with any Islamic groups. Okay. All right. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite groups. Okay. All right. And black's a color, not a nationality. All right. And right here, man, we have brother Job Issachar, and he going up against Ancient Watchmen. All right. So I'm just gonna play it. You're gonna see what as they used to go out. These are the same guys who said that that having slaves in the kingdom is a Canaanite Egyptian trait, when it clearly on Yahushua says in Revelation 13:9-10 that he that lead in captivity should go in captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. You know. All right, and there's many other scriptures that precepts that backs that up. We'll show these guys they don't know what they talking about according to the scriptures. All right, and this is another plain example of the guys they don't know what they talking about when they go into the scriptures. All right.
Address that. You want me to address that? I just want to ask what is deceiving. Well, it's just kick.
And you see this fool's just man. Manna is shroom. CJ bugged out, man. All right, but anyway, man.
Picking out the Negros, bro. You know, they fit the curses of Deuteronomy to the T. To the T? Okay, yeah, to the T. Show me how they fit Deuteronomy 28, verse 49 through 52, brother. Go ahead. I don't grab your Bible. Grab your Bible. I don't have it right now in front of me. Okay, I'm gonna read it for you. and I'm gonna let Jose Vega address that. Okay, because you made a strong strong statement. You came in here boldly, talking all stuff. Don't worry about it. It's all love. We're gonna help edify you, brother. That's okay. That's all it is. Okay. All right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verses 49. It says, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar." Stop right there. Now, what nation from afar came for the Negroes that were in West Africa, brother? The British, the French. Brother, the Europeans never stepped foot in West or South Africa, brother. They never stepped foot on there. We have lots of history that states that otherwise. Prove it. If you go into a book called, I just studied it. I mean, it's in school. You guys can look it up. It's a scholarly book. Because what you're about to say is completely different from what the Negroes teach. The Negroes teach that I know, bro. They were taken by other Africans. We heard you out. Bro. Yeah. Hold on. So what we hear from other Negroes is that they were taken by other Africans and then sold to the white man and the Arab. It was a combination of the Africans, the white man, and the Arab man. Okay, so hold on, right there. Let's stop right there. You just mentioned three nations, correct? Yes, sir. Read Deuteronomy 49 again. Verse 49 again. Deuteronomy 28, verse 49. "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar." Stop right there. Is that singular or plural? Well, they are heathen. Is that singular or plural right there? I consider them one. Yeah. No. Was that one?
All right, so there you go right here. They try to trick the brother with Deuteronomy 28 and we'll go up in there. Okay, Deuteronomy 28 and 49. All right. I'm gonna show you how they try. It says Deuteronomy 28:49. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle. The symbol's Esau. All right, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. That's why the Vatican and that's why Vatican had this slave traders. When they first started out on the 15th century, that they have to speak Hebrew and Aramaic because that's a language that Jake was speaking in West Africa. Also, in Americas, Esau would take Jake with them, some Sephardic Jews, Marrano Jews. That was us, all right, and talk to the Northern Kingdom over here. All right. When I say us, talking about the whole nation Israel. All right. Now they try to get him with a nation. All right. But what does it say a nation? All right. Because it's one particular nation. He's the main protagonist against Yasha'ala Israel, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American. Yasha'ala means Prince of Power. All right, so let me get this. Psalms 83. It says, right, Psalms 83, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. All right, hold not that peace, man. All right, bring that judgment upon these heathens, man. All right, and 2/3 are people, man. All right, it says right here, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee had lift up thy head. Right, rebellion, man. The other nations had coming against Yahweh, man. All right, it says they had taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulting against thy hidden ones. Right here, taking crafty counsel against thy people and consulting against thy hidden ones. And the hidden ones are the Israelites. Thy peoples are the Israelites. All right, it says right here, for lo, thy enemies, plural. All right. It says right here, they have come, said, let us cut them off from being a nation. The name of Israel may be no more. Remember, Israel means Yahshua, he Prince of Power, right? For they have consulted together with one consent, and they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. Right? Edom are the so-called white man. The Ishmaelites are the so-called Arabs. All right. Of Moab, so-called Chinese, or Hagarenes, those are talking about the Arabs again. All right. Gabal, that's the Hamites. Ammon, that's the so-called Japanese. All right. Amalek, all right, that's the head of the Edomite family. Philistines, that's the Africans. All right. What that happens to Tyre, all right, that's the Africans. Okay. The Hamites. All right. Okay, so right here it says what? The number one enemy is what? Who? The tabernacles of Edom. That's the first one that's listed, man. Right, so you had the other pernacles, but the main pernacles that's leading the charge against the nation of Israel is Edom, the so-called white man. All right, so that's why it says right here, it says Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far in the earth, swift as an eagle flies. And what nation is that? Esau. Esau, he's leading the charge, man. All right. Then you go back to you scroll up, let me see. You scrolled up to the other scriptures in this chapter, Deuteronomy 28. All right, it says right here, Deuteronomy 28:25, say Yahweh shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before him, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. It's all right, thy enemies, man. All right, but the reason why I said Deuteronomy 28, Esau's the head of the pack, man. That's attacking Yahshua. It says right here, First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. It said, "What nation have had not a part in her kingdom or gotten of her spoils?" Right. All right. So Esau, he was the head of leading the other nations to the downfall of the Israelites, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. Okay. And that's why Esau. You go up to Joel chapter 3. Right, that's what Esau does, man. Esau, he know nothing about. He came around. That's what I call. I believe this. He had he had Ham and Ishmael going there because they the main one that was mostly growing up in Africa, man. All right, that's Esau does, man. That prophecy had to be filled when it said die, enemies, man. All right, okay, but Esau the main one that was leading the charge, man. And he hired a Ham and he hired Ishmael to go up in there, man. All right, to get the Israelite captives, man. All right. Okay, so let me get this. Just bear with me. I'm trying to find this chapter. All right, so it says right here, Joel chapter 3. All right, it says, "For behold, those days and the time I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." Right, so the Most High gonna gather the 12 tribes from all over the earth. All right. It said, "I will also gather all nations, will bring them." I mean, he gonna bring them back, the Israelites back to their homeland after taking these nations down. All right, it said, "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat." That's why these nations now they in the Middle East. They about to get their judge and will plead with them there for my people, my heritage is all right. So Most High gonna kick off World War III. And the other nations they gonna see the chariots come out the sky, and Yahweh gonna send gonna send Yahweh Shai the son 144,000. He's gonna send the chariots. All right. All right, and with the angels piling on there, all right, and they're gonna destroy these nations, man. All right, it says right here, there for my people, for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, whom they have scattered, was this per has scattered among the nations and parted my land, right? That's why land parted among Esau and Ishmael, man. All right, over there in Palestine, man. All right, it said they had cast lots for my people, and up on the slave auction block had given a boy for a harlot, they prostitute our boys, sold a girl for wine that they might drink, right? To my Esau, Ham, and Ishmael, man, they did that, man. All right, it said, "Yea, well, you have to do me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine." All right, but originally Ham having that land and dominated, but now it's Ishmael, the so-called Arabs, man. All right, the majority of the people over there in that land, man. All right, now it said, "And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, would I return the recompense on your head?" Me, Most High gonna get on judge and put their hands on. Because if you had taken my silver and my gold and had carried it to your own temples, my goodly pleasing thing, right? All right, and that's what Ishmael do. He got our treasure over there, man. All right, it said, "The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border." All right. So that's the prophecy that happened. All right. Ishmael and some of Ishmael had a hand of bringing Jake down, man. You got the trans-Saharan trade, and then you got the transatlantic trade, man. All right. But so it's more that they start tricky with that. But Esau, he's the head honcho, man, the main culprit, man, that led this charge, man. The other nations, man, they just like this where they get the word scripture, man. All right, Jacob and Esau, the main two actors. All right, and the other nations are the supporting actors, man. So that's what's going on in the situation, man. All right, just because it says a nation don't mean other nations didn't have a hand in our downfall. It's just saying that instant Deuteronomy 28:49, that Esau the main one that was leading the charge, man. All right, I'm gonna go down there. It says a nation of fierce counter which not regard a person of old, no show of favor to you. Right, Esau and didn't care, man. He killed everybody, man. Destroyed everybody. There's like baby, toddler, teenager, little girl, boy. All right, old man, young girl, young woman. All right, mothers, man, uncles. All right, he didn't care, man. All right, he slaughtered them all, man. It says, and he should eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or increase of thy kind. All right, so you go up in here. I mean, Esau shall take, man, our crops, man. What's that fruit? All right, it says para. Go up in there. All right, bowl reward. All right, fruit, produce of the ground, fruit, offspring. But we talking about produce of the ground in this instance, man. That's one of the curses, man. All right. Okay. All right. It says, "Till thou be destroyed, which thou should not leave that, which also should not leave thee either corn, wine, oil, or the increase of thy kind." All right. So you got kind. Allah. Let's talk about the oxen, man. Yo, that's all right. And Jose Vega, I call him Vega, and Shamar, what's his name? That's Shamar. All right, but they won't tell me they don't fit it. But guess what? Was no alap for no cattle in the island of Puerto Rico. That's y'all from. Y'all eat from. Well, no cattle's over there. Well, no sheep over there. Indigenous to Puerto Rico when Esau came up on the scene, man. All right, see how silly that is, man. All right. And some jakes was located, man. One no and sometimes one no sheep and cattle in different areas, man. But that don't mean they not Israelites, man. All right. All right. It says, which also shall not lead thee either corn, wine, or oil, or increase of thy kind, flocks of thy sheep, until he had destroyed thee, man. All right. So this happened all the time, man. All right, all these curses, man. The siege of Babylon, the Syrian captivity, man. All right, the burning of Jerusalem in 70 A.D., man. All right, what you did, Jake? What you think? Jay was eating vegetables only, man. He had all this stuff, man. All right, and then it says, and it happened time and time again wherever the Israelites settle at, man. Wherever the 12 tribes settle at, man. All right, these curses follow us, man. All right, you go right here, Deuteronomy, it's Deuteronomy 28:19. Curse of thou should be when thou comest in. Curse shall thou be when thou goest out, man. All right, it says right here, Deuteronomy 20:16. Curse shall thou be in the seed, and curse shall thou be in the field. All right, so the curse is gonna follow us, man. All right. And that's what they like to say, cause the buffalo was slaughtered throughout North America, man. All right. And buffaloes all over, man. These almost all over America, even in northern Mexico, man. All right. The Incas, they wasn't raising cattle and buffalo, man. Right now they had sheep over there. That's over there that land, but do that mean they not? Do that mean they aren't Israelites? No, it don't. They are Israelites from the tribe of Asher, man. All right. Our people, they just foolish, man. All right, and it show how ignorant he don't know history, man. All right, cause another thing like to say, well, the so-called Negro, there was no buffaloes out in Africa, or Esau then burn their food and burn their food down and starve them, man. No, man, that's not true, man. All right, cause Jake, they like to say, that this right here, Deuteronomy 28:40, Deuteronomy 51 don't fit, Jake. Because they never had their food destroyed, man. Particularly the cattle, what they say, with the buffalo. That's not true, man. I'm gonna show you. And Jake had a cattle, everything burnt, ruined, man. Their food, everything taken, man. Burnt over there in West Africa, and somewhere else. I'm gonna show you. All right. So, all right. So get right here. This is from Babylon to Timbuktu. All right, and this is why page 90 show the occupation Jake had. All right, it says the black Jew, talking about black meaning dark skin. All right, because nobody black like they fonts. The page 90 from Babylon to Timbuktu. It says the black Jews had advantage over the African tribes, meaning over the Hamites. They carried their culture, history, laws, written records with them. This assured them a constant precedent for development of higher social organization. Because the ability of the black Jewish culture, the Jews were, all right, this is the southern kingdom, right, Jews, all right. It says the Jews were not absorbed into autonomous population. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes. The Jews made use of every opportunity. They was industrious, skillful people. In Jewish Ghanaian state, this talking about the old Ghana, not the present day Ghana. The old Ghana is way bigger than present day Ghana, right? It said the Jewish Ghana states were found kings, prince, governors, generals, secretary, treasurers, revenue agents, governors, generals, secretaries, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreters, mathematicians, jewelers, sculptors, masons, carpenters. All right, masons talking about the bricklayers, painters of art, goldsmith, leather workers, potters, armorers, sattlers, blacksmith, agriculturists, etc., 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 agriculturists, man. All right, because what happened, they did had the Southern Kingdom did had the Southern Kingdom did had cattle and all this with them, man. In some areas where they was in, man. All right, let me show you. This is the Renaissance, the African gang and betrayal. Show how 2/3 of Jake and even the Hamites, you know, how they came against Jake, man. All right, cause this guy, man, he like to say Fulani. It's like, but the Fulanis are Israelites, man. All right. It just prophesied Deuteronomy 28:54 that this is what happened. Deuteronomy 28:54 said that a man that has turned among you and very day his eye shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bulls and toward the remnants of his children where he shall leave, man. It says eye shall be evil towards his brother, man. So that's what happened, man. All right, like I said before, man. Previous, you know, Jake. It's already been turncoat Jake, so coon Jakes, man. All right. All throughout history, man, Jake. In the Southern Kingdom, you had some Jakes that was siding with the Romans, and also with the Romans before they was siding with the Greeks, man. All right, you read all through the Old Testament, you find a lot of Jakes. They come up against Yahweh, the prophets. They coming up against Paul, man. All right, so that's nothing new, man. All right. Let me read this code thing, man. For they won't take this down. Cause a guy had some type of let's see, code 107. All right, it said copyright disclaimer on the section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute might be infringing, right? But right here, this is commenting, scholarship, and research. All right. That's what we doing right here. So I do not own any of these clips that I played or played video. This is purely for education. All right, now watch this.
If you have ever heard about what they called Python dance or whatever they called it in Nigeria not too long ago, remember we told you history repeats itself and we need to establish who the Negros are, where they are today, and what is happening to them. So let us reference a tropical dependency, an outline of the ancient history of the Western Sudan with an account of modern settlement of northern Nigeria by Flora L. Shaw, Lady Lugard, and published 1905. We see the following.
Chicago is growing, and it needs builders. If you want to bring home an honest wage, apprenticeships will...
Throughout this district, the army marched, murdering, burning, destroying as they went. The inhabitants, knowing the object of their march, usually fled before them to the forest, abandoning their property that they might save their persons. This maneuver was frequently successful, and slaves were not always obtained. The villagers were nonetheless burnt, and the surrounding crops destroyed. When prisoners were captured, only women and the young were kept. Full-grown men were massacred.
The surrounding crops was destroyed. All right. So who do you think they had doing those crops, man? They had to have cattle. They had to have sheep, goats, because you look at all the West African countries, man. They got all types of recipes for goat, goat meals, man. They got cattle over there, man. All right. So the crops destroyed, everything destroyed. They burn it down, man. What you think happened to the animals, man? All right. You know, some may got away, man. I'm pretty sure some got burnt, man. All right. So it says right here, Deuteronomy 28 and 51, and he shall eat the fruit, thy cow, the fruit, thy land, until thou be destroyed, which thou shalt not leave, which also shall not leave thee the corn, wine, oil, and increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he had destroyed thee. Right. So that's what they do, man. They come in and just in this he had the Hamites come in there and burn it down, man. All right. And in some instance, this is this is war, man. What you think happened to war, man? It had to be some instance where they took some of the animals, and then they also, when they burned down, some of the animals died, man. Then what is here? The crops was burnt, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or increase in thy kind, or flocks thy sheep, until he had destroyed thee, man. All right. So that's what happened in that instance, man, to the southern kingdom in Nigeria and in Central Africa, man. All right. All right. So that is, I think that's talking about Central Africa, right? But that's where the Israelites was coming from, man. Okay. So Israelite captives were coming from, man. All right. Now let's go into the other things. All right. Now this is the book Black Indians by William Lauren Katz. And you brothers, man, you need to get these books, man, while you can, you know. You know, because Esau, well, you need to get this truth, the understanding of the mysteries of this our Bible, man. All right, because Esau is shutting this down, man. Y'all about to, like the brother said on the video, y'all about to deliver us, man. He slowly is taking us away, man. All right, so get all the understanding of this Bible, man, and try to get all these books you can, man. All right, because Esau, he's shutting this down, man. All right, courtesy of the Yahweh, you know, prophecy gotta be filled. All right. So again, this is the book Black Indians by William Lauren Katz. All right. This is page 38. All right. I'll read right here. It says, all right. It says, from the time of Columbus, the gravest threat to European domination was here came from came from outlaw communities of former slaves. These maroon colonies, as they were called, considered a knife poised at the throat of the slave system. Some fearful Europeans saw them as a sore press against the entire colonial system in America. They had point men and women. Maroons saw the settlements as fulfillment of an American dream, a shelter, home, and freedom. They were placed for families to educate their young, develop their agriculture, trade, practice religion, justice, and government. As outlaw communities, they operated in remote, difficult to find, hard to defeat locations. Maroons consider each day's survival a small miracle, and were thankful each new dawn as free men and free women. All right, so that go with the curses, man. What did they say, man? All right, go to Deuteronomy 28 and let me see. I'm going to go ahead. Deuteronomy 28. The tender and delicate woman among you, which should not. No, not this. This one I'm not looking for it. Salah. Where is that? Where is that scripture? All right. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28:65. It says right here. It said, among the nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest. Means slavery, right? But Yahweh should give thee a trembling heart, right here, that's the part. Should give thee a trembling heart and fell in the eyes and a sorrow man, right? Because they constantly worry about Esau coming after, even though they somewhere deep in the forest or in the jungle, all right? It said among the it said, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. All right, so this is the northern southern kingdom maroon colonies, man. All right, they trimming their hearts, man. They had doubt their lives, you know. It says right here, some colonies were begun by a single African Indian. All right, so some colonies were started out by a man for the southern kingdom or a man for the northern kingdom. All right, so let's go. Okay, so right here, together, it says sometimes together. All right, it says right here, it said the history of the surrounding people serving in South America started around 1685 when the African native slaves escaped and together formed a maroon society. All right, so this goes with Jeremiah 50. How much time I got? Perfect. All right, Jeremiah 50 and 33. Okay. Let me see. Let me get this. It said Jeremiah chapter 50, 33. It said, thus said Yahweh, the children of Israel and the children of Judah was oppressed together. All right, so you have the so-called Negros and you had the so-called Native Americans, the indigenous people of America. They being oppressed together, man. So they found they was enslaved. All right, they was enslaved together, man. All right, that took them captives that took them captives. All right. And all that took them captive held them fast, and they refused to let them go. All right. We're here right here. It said, thus said Yahweh host, the children of Israel, the children of Judah were oppressed together. All right. So this is the northern kingdom, southern kingdom, man. They oppressed together. They got the hell up out of there, ran up in the mountains. All right. So it says right here, together and formed a maroon society. For 8 generations, Dutch armed forces tried to crush their community, but today it's still alive and boasts 20,000 members. For the Samarkand Liberty came in 1761. The Europeans abandoned their wars and sued for peace. All right, it says right here, from their first day, maroon colonies faced enormous problems. They had to quickly find a safe location, plan defense, feed, clothe their people, plan a life of stable community. When we're using a short supply, many maroon raids sought to bring back African and Indian ways. So we know they know Africans, you know they know they're not Indians. So this is the Judah and the southern kingdom and northern kingdom. All right, Israelites, man. All right, nobody's African, nobody's Indian, man. All right, so we go right here, page 40. Okay. It says right here, it says some maroons pitched near large cities and live as bandits. They raided local plantation merchants and even Indians and slaves. All right. It says their communities were unstable. Often a few women and children usually disappear into violence. They helped create, although some earned a reputation for daring raids on rich Europeans. Many were feared by people of every race. Fear attack onto every maroon settlement. It was danger they could count on. John S. King, an African. All right, so we know not no African. All right, it's a southern kingdom Judite. All right, who live among the Matawi Indians and Guianas. All right, in 1885, recalled his people struggled to stay alive during the decades of war. Okay. All right, so they were constantly on the move, and the fear of Esau, man, getting them. All right, so this is proof. I'm just, not laughing at their situation, but it's just obvious that these people are the Israelites, man. All right. Now right here, it's interesting. Right here, it says on page 41. It said men and women once starved and beaten by masters grew strong and vigorous in the hidden communities. Maroon settlements took such daring name as God's knows me and none else. Where'd they get that from? Where'd they get that from, man? Got it from scriptures. All right, go right here. Amos. Start 3:1. Yep. 3:1-2. All right, Amos chapter 3, verse 1-2. It said, "Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for your iniquities." All right. So these people, man, whoever it was, they knew the scriptures, man. All right, they knew they was the Israelites. Okay. All right. So all right. It says it's in my room. It says, "Disturb me if you dare. Come try me if you be men. I shall mortar before I shall be taken." All right. It's my room. Self-esteem seemed to grow with each month for the liberty. It sprang from the knowledge that Europeans were often afraid to march out and challenge their community's defenses. Their self-respect grows because of the fear whites have of them, wrote a Portuguese colony to King Jael in 1719. Right, man. All right. So Esau, he's afraid of Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom together, man. And that frightens us, man. Even today, man, Esau getting nervous when you see a bunch of Judite so-called Negros and Issachar so-called Mexicans and Ephraim so-called Puerto Ricans all in the car together, man. It makes them, it shakes them, man. All right. It says, all right, so man, there right there. All right. Let me see. All right, so I'm gonna go right here. Let me see. Let me see when we'll start at. Alright, so right, I'm gonna start. It says maroon culture drew from experience of African nation, Native American park. What people color learn about the Europeans as slaves and free men, women, Africans. So this is the Southern Kingdom, right? Because we're not Africans, though we're not Native American. We are Israelites from the Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom. All right, it says, so far from home, made special efforts to preserve their ancestral ways, passed amongst your children, others who listen. All right. So it said, Judah patterns, prominent farming defense were also important in government administration, justice, and religion. Many maroon colonies adopted forms of Christianity. All right. Allowed a number of competing religions to flourish. Some village and family mystic religions play a part in a vital part of way people face threats and around them. Maroons felt convinced each day was still alive, worthy of blessings to a powerful outside force. They believe in the Most High. All right, they may be going off in situation, but they believe in the Most High. All right, it says to the surprise of well, depends on what tribes they come from. You know, it's still going off, man. But it's predicted Jake would do that. All right, probably worshiping other gods, man. All right, but anyway, it said to surprise of well, some of them, you know, have. All right, it said to surprise to the surprise of European maroon colonies became successful independent farming communities. It said in the 18th century, Captain John Steedman, this guy, devil, man, the leading Dutch troop against Maroons in Guyana, wrote that Maroon foods were superior to European products in great supply. Men and women Maroon selling are often described as healthy, tall, muscular, attributed to their diets and their freedom. It says some colonies trade became a vital part of economic life. Men and women venture out to change their farm produce for valuable guns, ammunition, sometimes gold and jewelry. Trade was carried on with slaves and masters, Indians and Europeans, and free blacks. All right, so you had what's that? Guyanas. All right, so you had the Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom, right, trading back and forth with Esau and free Judites. All right, it said prosperity of some colonies made them an object of envy and then attacked by Europeans. The Maroons most likely to face military assaults by invading armies were situated on land Europeans wanted. All right. Okay. All right, it's just like Black Wall Street, man. Jake, Esau jealous of Jake, man. All right. Let me see. All right, so this page 4 said Maroon 7 was an effort to recreate a free society. People once lived free before 1700. Most Maroon leaders were like their followers, African-born. Jake's Southern King born that said some colonies built dynasties on African, models where they was parts where they come from, right? Not Africans. Models that last for generations had royal courts, cabinets, princes, and princesses. All right. So yeah, there's like royalty among these people, man. All right, Jakes. All right. It says right here. It says right here, page 45. It said in Paça, Brazil, Portuguese discovered Malali Indians and Africans. So this Asher and Judah living on the root of another Judite woman. That's what they going to hell off, right? All right, that's why Esau keep coming against them, right? It said leading a Mosiah sent Esau against them, right? It said leading a maroon colony took a rare combination of wisdom, toughness, skill. The ruler had to provide for a strong defense, keep spirits high despite threats, develop a rich and satisfied economic life. Remember, courts or other means of administrative justice had to be in place to consider fair because of threat from the outside. Enforcement or rules were often harsh and swift on vital matters such as murder, robbery, adultery, desertion. All right, leaving the maroon community. It said the punishment was death, often in public. All right, so they weren't playing around, man. All right, it says 46. It said Captain John Steedman, a British officer in charge of the Dutch troops in Ghana at the time of the American Revolution, left a record of maroon campaigns. He told how his troops, which include Europeans and Indians, destroyed the most beautiful field of ripe rice and left a village of 100 homes smoking ruins. Captain Steedman, his 80 Marines, 20 Rangers enjoyed the devastation. He proudly wrote the continued noise of firing, shouting, swearing, and howling of black and white man, or howling of Judite man and Edomite man mixed together. The groans, this guy's sick, man. He loved the howling of his own men. The groans of the wounded and died and weltered in blood and dust, man. Okay. So right here, what he says, he says right here, Captain John Steiner, a British officer in charge of the Dutch troops in Guyana, at the time of the American Revolution, left a record of his maroon campaigns. He told how his troops, which included Europeans and Indians, destroyed the most beautiful field of ripe rice and left a village of 100 homes in smoking ruins. All right. Captain Steedman, his 80 Marines and 20 Rangers enjoyed that devastation and proudly wrote of the continued noise. All right. So they stormed villages and what's that, crops, man. So let's go back to right here, Deuteronomy 28. All right, Deuteronomy 28. All right. Okay. It says right here, it says, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee neither corn, wine, or oil, or increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he hath destroyed thee. He shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave either corn, wine, oil, and increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he hath destroyed it. All right, we think these people have, man. All right, they're just stealing the from Esau, the cattle and everything. And then they had no crops, man. This guy, he bragging that he likes doing that, man. That he's a destroyer, man. Esau's a man of perdition, man. He's a man of destruction. All right. Let's see, Guyana. All right, let's see. For more edification, where is that located? Guyana. All right. Let's see. Oh boy. All right, so this will be Asher. All right, and yep, this will be Asher. Okay, let's see history. I'm gonna got French Guiana then again. All right. Yep, that's Asher. All right. Just with y'all that let y'all know, y'all know. All right. So they're around there. All right. Area. All right. So let's get right here. All right, it says to defeat them, Captain Stephen had to rely on conscripting Indian and slave soldiers. All right, so he had to get some other Israelites from the southern northern kingdom to fight these Jakes, man. All right, Esau can't do it by himself, man. You have to remember, in Genesis 25, man, it says one should be stronger than the other, man. All right, and the stronger one talking about Jake. All right, these troops proved to be the best jungle fighters the Europeans had. Okay, this is page 47. They were also the least reliable, most likely to defect the people they've sent out to destroy. All right, so they ran away with them, man. It said European soldiers, talking about Eastern officers, all rarely relished marching to the wilderness to face seasoned jungle fire. They continued to conscript tribe and hire Native American Africans. They was hiring Asher and Judah, man. All right. He go by another settler. For almost a century, a maroon colony called Republic of Paramas in northeastern Brazil stood as the greatest challenge to European rule in Latin America. It began around 1600 with a few African, we know talking about these are Judites, slave Judite runaways, and friendly Indians, man, Asher, man. It says in 1640, a Dutch citizen named Lynch reported 11,000 people live in Palmeiras, 3 villages. The Dutch West India Company decided to put Palmeiras through the fire and sword and tried again a few years, also without success. By then, Palmeiras was a half-mile long with streets 6 feet wide. I'm going to read again. Palmeiras was a half-mile long with streets 6 feet wide and hundreds of homes, churches, shops. Its well-kept lands produced cereals and other crops, irrigated African-style system. I mean, there's like Southern King-style systems over there. They doing over there in West Africa. It said it boasted courts that carry out justice for 1,000 citizens and was ruled by King Gangazumba. Gangazumba combined an Angolian African word for great with Tupi Indian word for ruler. All right, so so these were Israelites, man, because a lot of Israelites in Angola. All right, so they combined their words together, man. All right, so there was a Judite man ruling, man. It says Christianity was commonly practiced, including elaborate marriage and baptism ceremonies that drew crowds, man. All right, so they had that plantation Christianity. All right, but then again, they might have just used the who knows what they know, man. All right, some but anyway, they had no business in Christianity, man. Anyway, it says right here, it said in 1657, life in Palmeiras was still relatively peaceful, but the New World Brazil, the Portuguese, decided it must be destroyed. All right. All right, so we saw 2/3 like hell no. All right, so right here it said a foreign expedition will launch about every 15 months to obliterate the Republic of Palmeiras, and each was beaten back with heavy losses on both sides. Palmeiras, a determined armed forces, 3 huge surrounding walls, cost many a foreign commander of governing his post or his life. Right, so it's talking about the walls. All right, so you got it again right here. What it says in Deuteronomy 28. Okay. That's it. Right, it says, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high fence walls come down wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land. You know, this talking about in the land of Israel. This happened all over again. Every time Jake Moody curses follow, man. All right. It says, where thou trustest through all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which Yahweh thy power have given thee. All right. But right here it's saying, he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high fence and walls come down, where thou trustest throughout all thy land. Right. So they behind the walls again, man. All right. Even they over here in New Nazareth or New Canaan. All right. It says in 16, it says 3 hues surround the walls, cost many a foreign commander's governing post of his life. Men in splendid uniforms turned and fled back to Rio de Janeiro or Lisbon, relieved to abandon a war they could not win. A 7th century Portuguese soldier wrote these failures. The army's best fighters, the most experienced leaders, were at once employed for the purpose, where immense effort and suffering, but little was achieved. Finally, in 1694, the invaders brought in an army of Brazilian Indians called Paulistas to lead the mass assault on the Republic of Paris. Some 6,000 Paulistas, supported by the Portuguese soldiers and weapons, laid siege on Parmas. All right, and all right, so they had Asherites fight the other Asherites and Judites, man. All right. It says right here, all right, so go to picture, the illustration, and what they said, what happened, all right. Got Ash and Judah fighting. All right, it said 42 days on February 5th, it was overrun with hundreds of dying hand-to-hand combat. Other 100, including the Pyramids, brave warriors, according to legend, hurled themselves over the cliff rather than surrender. The ruler, King Zamba, who had been wounded in struggle, was captured and beheaded by the enemy. His head was displayed, said a European visit to kill the legend immortality, but death does not kill legend. For over a century, the Republic of Pyramids has shone as a bright star of freedom in Latin America. Until the united many peoples on the African form of government, and culturally not talking about Africa, talking about the Southern Kingdom form of government. All right, and you can see right here, man, it was brought down, man. It's part of the curses, man. All right, so the crops was burned, everything was burnt down, man. All right, so it fits. This is Judah and Asher together, man. The so-called Negros and so-called Indians of Brazil, Asher. All right. All right, they was what? It said, he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high fence and walls come down there, and thou trust throughout thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which Yahweh gave thee, Yahweh thy power had given thee. All right. Then right here it says what? He shall eat the fruit of thy cow and the fruit of thy land till thou be destroyed, but also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or increase of thy kind, or the flocks of thy sheep, till he had destroyed thee. All right, and that's what happened, man. All right, so the curses of Deuteronomy 28:49 to 43, it do fit the so-called Negroes in America, man. It prove they are the Israelites. And Jeremiah, this also proved the Jeremiah 15:33, man, that the so-called Negroes are the Southern Kingdom, and the so-called Indians of the Americas, man, they are the Northern Kingdom, man. Because the curses identify them, man. Okay, now this is right here, Jake in Ireland. All right, this is the book on Tohero Barbados by Sean O'Callaghan, right? The ethnic cleanse of Ireland. All right. It says right here, let's see, chapter 6, it says the Irish white slave trade. All right, and that's what they like to think, but they don't tell you that though fair-skinned people, so-called Irish, they paternal bloodline go back to the original Irish, which was dark-skinned men, so-called black men. All right, and this is the book on right here, the Negro Question, Part 4, the missing link. All right, Jake wrote Euro, Britain, Scott, Irish. You can see those Irish kids right there. All right, by Lee Cummins. All right, so I'm gonna show you right here on page 40. It show you what the original Irish look like. All right, you see the Esau putting the baby on a pitchfork. All right. It said woodcut 16 illustrating the barbarous and humane proceedings of the 1641 rebellion. All right, from the Irish library. See, you could clearly see that's a Judite woman. All right. These are women of color, man. The original Irish. Clear right here said. Okay. And this is what Esau leaves out when they talk about those Irish slaves, man. All right. You had those that were descended from, they fair skinned, but they fathers paternal blood and go back to these people, the original. Then you had the ones that never lost their color, never lost their hue, their brown skin. All right. Right here it says they forgot to paint this picture completely white. You can see where they painted the black Irish woman's right hand, but forgot to paint the left hand, her face. All right. Okay. So, all right, so let's go back. It said the ethnic cleansing of Ireland may be said to have begun 24 August 1652. On that date, there was put into operation the most thorough and ruthless transfer of Irish people to overseas colonies, even undertaken by the English leader. Right, man? So, they just didn't snatch Jay from Africa, man. Right, it said proclamation with issue was gave the ultimate power to the Commissioner of Ireland to seize and transport anybody of whatsoever rank was judged dangerous to the Commonwealth. Right, into his category fell landlords refused to transplant, some of whom were not even Tories, soldiers who had not immigrated to join foreign armies, dependents of soldiers who had gone abroad. If you have seen majority of Irish swordsmen, as the English called them, who had gone abroad to join armies of several foreign countries not at war with England, were not allowed to take their dependents with them. Therefore, a vast number of women left behind and destitute. And that's what Esau do, man. He's a coward, man. Just like he did to their brothers, the so-called Abrahamic Galileans, man. He wait till the men go away and he'll attack the villages, man. Esau a coward, man. All right. It says right here, page 78. Let me see. I think this one I wanted right here. Let me see. Yeah. This one I wanted. All right. And this page 78 was passed by council. Irish women being too numerous now, therefore exposed to prostitution and be sold to merchant transport to Virginia. Right, Deuteronomy 28:68. All right, New England, other countries where they may support themselves by their labor. All right, now let me see. This was the most probably the most cynical piece of legislation passed by the Council of Ireland, while it true a few Irish women marry or prostitute themselves with Roman soldiers. All right, so they giving up themselves to Esau, man. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It's happening today, man. All right, it says the penalties for doing so were very severe for both parties. It was difficult. It was no difficult matter this time to round up plenty of women and children, as there was crowds of the young widows, deserted wives of sons and daughters wandering in the neighborhood of cities, towns without visible means of support. It's not surprising that they gravitate towards the towns and cities. The countryside was a wilderness, very little left growing after the Cromwellian soldiers had devastated with fire and was sick. The Cromwell had thoughtfully provided for just this purpose. Famine was endemic. It says, and writers have mentioned that cannibalism was rife. Okay. All right. It says one such writer, George Burnett, in his history of abandoned, stated allegedly, quote from old documents, that the few persons that will occasionally be met with in the rural parts were wandering orphans whose fathers had embarked for Poland or Spain, and whose mothers had died of hunger, or were miserable old people who will crawl over a putrid carcass raked it from a stagnant pool, or some of whom were seen to eat human flesh cut from the corpse of a fellow creature that lay broiling on a fire before them. All right. So this happened to our people over there, the ancestors of the so-called Negros and so-called Negro Judah and so-called West Indians, Benjamin, man. All right. Cause that's what the Irish slaves, and so this the Irish slaves, man. They was Judah, Benjamin. You had a few Levites, but man, it's the tribe to Judah and Benjamin, man. And this was happening to them, man. Okay, so the so-called Negroes, the so-called West Indians, and the so-called Haitians, man, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, man, they are the Israelites, man. These curses did happen to them. All right. All right, I'm gonna read down. It says Deuteronomy 28:49. It said, Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from one end of the earth, swift as an eagle, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. All right. Even though this situation they understood, Jake understood Gate over Aaron, but this happening to Jake here in America. This curse is happening to Jake over there in Europe. This curse is happening to Jake over there in West Africa, man. A nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard a person old nor show favor to the young. All right. He shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, the fruit of thy land, till thou be destroyed. But also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, oil, or increase of thy kind, flocks of thy sheep, until he had destroyed thee. All right. You hear right here, they burned all their crops and they killed their animals, man. All right. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high fence walls come down where thou trustest throughout thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout thy land, which Yahweh shall give thee. All right, even though this talking Israel, but this happened again in Palmeiras, Brazil, man, with Judah and Asher. It says right here, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which Yahweh thy power had given thee in the siege, in the straitness where thy enemies shall distress thee. All right. All right. So this switch right here, this what happened, man. All right. They was eating each other, man. Cannibalism. These Jakes in Ireland, man. In Ireland, man. All right. And no doubt this didn't happen when Jerusalem was sieged, man. All right. Cause Jake was eating leather belts and stuff, man. All right. And no doubt they was eating their own kids, man. All right, the scripture said though, in this situation, this happened again over here in Ireland, man. They was eating their children, man. They eating they fellow Israelite brethren, man. Their crops was burned, man. They farm animals were destroyed, man. And Esau set them on fire. So these guys, Ancient Watchmen, man, they don't know what the hell they talking about. The curses of Deuteronomy 28:49 to 43, man. All right, it fit the so-called Negros. Deuteronomy 28:49 to 53, man, fit the so-called Negros. Also, man. So I'm gonna end this. I hope you've been edified and the mic been dropped. Shalom.